I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is Chase the Heat. This is a Chase the Heat episode that I've been really excited about. I've talked about it for the last couple days. I put it off a little bit because I wanted to have this camera. New and stunning Robbie Vision. Thank you, Robbie, so much. Guys, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about a couple different things. Just this, here's the thing. I think since I started the channel, one thing I've noticed, I think everybody can kind of see this, is that so many of the channels and so many of the videos about chilies are focused on the extreme stuff. And it's not focused on helping you get to that level for those who want to. So we're going to talk today about increasing tolerance, different pods, what makes a chili head, and how to get, one thing I hear a lot is I'm stuck on a pepper. I'm stuck on a certain pepper, jalapeno, I'm stuck on a Habanero or Serrano or whatever, and I want to get past that. What do I do? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about tolerances and such. For starters, we're going to talk about what is a chili head. I think there's sometimes chili heads can look down their nose. Somebody's not a chili head, and the minute they start getting into chilies, they become the expert. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes this is specifically for guys that are just starting their journey out or in a spot where they seem like they're plateaued. So what is a chili head? You guys see this? I'm going to show you a couple different peppers here. We have here an orange bell pepper. All right, almost negligible as far as Scoville ratings. Jalapeno can be around 6,000. Got a Serrano, I think it's like 25 or 35,000. Then we've got, and this is one of my favorite peppers, I got a red habanero, 200,000 or 300,000, something in that range. If this is all you like, but you really like this, I have to share with you something. In my book anyway, and on this bus, you're a chili head. You don't have to be eating reapers or eating full super hot pods to be a chili head. You just don't. So that's what we're going to start with this. I'm going to show you a couple differences with different peppers. We're going to talk about that. There is a rumor going around that you see how this has 3 bulbs or whatever. Sometimes you'll see them that have 4, and they're posts on the internet that this is a male pepper and 4 is a female. That's nonsense. Makes for a funny video or a post. Now let me show you okay. I'm going to show you a couple different things here. Give me just a second while I prepare this. This is a cool video because there's so many people. We really need to think about the percentage of people that are into chilies. I mean, liking extreme videos is one thing, but the people that are consuming chilies, how many people are like that? Most of them are not. So this is really geared towards people that are just starting out. I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this video. All right, now, talk a little bit about peppers. Let me show you this. Thank you, stunning Robbie Vision. Okay, this is the interior of a bell pepper, okay? Maybe better, it's gonna be better this way, hang on. There are applications where that will be good, but look at this. All right, if you look at this is the interior. This is the pepper wall lining in here. This is the thickness of the, you can see that's a very, the wall lining, this is the interior. The wall lining is here, here, you can see how thick it is. It's a very thick pepper. This is big misconception that a lot of people have. If you're hearing stuff for the first time, I apologize, but this is to people that are just starting out, so I don't know how much you've known. This is the placenta of the pepper. Okay, this is where the seeds are affixed to. That's where most of the heat resides in the pepper. I'm going to get a cross section of this to show you what it looks like inside. Now, what I've done here is I've taken, this is what it looked like, and I've cut it open to show you the inside. This is called the placenta. odd word for something you're going to eat, but there you go. And you can see that it's kind of spongy. Now this is where, on super hot peppers, this is where the heat mostly resides. There is no pepper in seeds, or excuse me, there's no heat on the seeds. There is that's another common misconception, is that all the heat is in the seeds, and it's not. Now there certainly will be capsaicin oils surrounding the seeds to protect them, to help propagate more pepper plants. But insofar as the seeds being hot, they're not. All right, now there's a correlation, to me at least, with the thicker the wall of the pepper, typically the less hot it is. All right, this is so sweet and delicious. All right, I'm going to go now to the jalapeno. It's a cross cut of the jalapeno. Fairly thick wall lining, okay? You can very, very clearly see the lighter white sponge area here, all right? And you can see that the placenta vein goes all the way to the tip of the pepper, all right? Now this is kind of important, because with jalapenos are a sneaky pepper. You don't want to trust a jalapeno. Sneaky pepper. Most of the peppers, it's a very stabilized pepper. A pepper takes about 8 seasons to stabilize. Growing these forever. The thing interesting about the jalapeno is most of them are pretty consistent in heat. Every once in a while you are going to encounter a rogue jalapeno. Banana peppers are similar, where they're just crazy stupid hot. It's not you. It may be where you're at on your own personal tolerance, but even me, I eat peppers a lot, as you guys know. I got a pepper 2 weeks ago. It's the hottest jalapeno I've ever had in my life. So there are rogue peppers like that. Now if you get a pepper like this and you just bite off, kind of important to know. Let's say that you are eating a pepper and you're gonna eat the whole pod, and you bite just the tip of the pod off, and you chew it up, you're like, that's not that hot, I can do it. It's because there's very, very little placenta in the tip of that pepper. So when you eat the first half of that pepper, it's not gonna be that hot. When you eat the second half of the pepper, it's gonna be a marked increase in heat, because that's where all the heat is. It resides in the lower portion. All right, now let's say that you're on jalapeno. We're going to talk about jalapeno. It's a great pepper. The reason it's an important pepper to pepper heads and chili heads is because it's readily available. You can get them in almost every store. So if you're on jalapeno, you're stuck on a jalapeno. Most stores have serranos and other peppers that are going to be hotter than a jalapeno. But if let's say you're stuck on a jalapeno, you want to get to the next level, but the next pepper, let's say a serrano, is a little too warm for you. What you can do is eat multiple. You can do a couple of things. You can either eat multiple jalapenos, like if a jalapeno is not quite doing it for you, but you aren't quite there for the next one, instead of eating one jalapeno, you can eat 2, and it will push your tolerance, okay? Another thing that you can do, instead of eating more of the lesser heat pods to build your tolerance to the next pod, what you can do is go right to the next pod, and instead of eating the entire pod, eat a portion, just like, you don't eat the whole thing. If you're at jalapeno level heat and you eat this, even if you don't eat the whole pod, it's going to push you. It's going to push your tolerance, because it's a hotter pepper. This is a Serrano. Now, if you look at the Serrano, this is an interesting pepper. Serranos are kind of like this. If you look at the wall lining, is thinner than a jalapeno. Okay, and if you look, the placenta runs almost the entire length of the pepper, okay? And the seeds are very, very different how the seeds affix themselves on this pod versus the bell, which are all centralized in a bulb at the bottom, where this runs up the entire length of the pepper. All right? So, you're stuck on a pod. You're stuck on a jalapeno. You can either eat multiple jalapenos or a smaller amount of a hotter pepper. It still will push your tolerance. Here's how to increase your tolerance. Hotter and more of it. If you can't get hotter, more of what you got will still push your tolerance. It will. Proof of that, let's say all you have in your store readily available to you is a jalapeno. If you get a jalapeno and on Monday you eat half a jalapeno and it's really hot for you, on Tuesday you eat another half of a jalapeno. And you do that all week. I promise you, on day 8, after one full week of doing that, if you ate an entire jalapeno, It wouldn't burn you as much, not even close as much as the day one with a half of a jalapeno. I'm just telling you. Now, tolerances rise quickly and they can fall quickly. It's not a stepping stone. Like once you get to jalapeno, you're there. Or once you get to ghost pepper, you're there, and you're never going to decrease. I stopped eating peppers for a lot. If I stopped eating peppers for an extended period of time, my tolerance would drop to just about nothing. I just don't let that happen because there's reasons to have a higher tolerance, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. So let's say you're on Serrano and you want to go to the next level. Let's say the next level at your grocery store is a red jalapeno. Here is a cross cut of the red jalapeno. All right, it's a little bit thicker wall lining. Okay, and you can see how there's a vein that runs from the base of the pepper right here all the way to the tip. See that vein running right there? And then this is your placenta. Whoops, sorry. See the spongy, kind of corky nature of it? On super, super hot peppers, when you cut a pepper in half, capsaicin will seep out. If you ever see pepper pictures with oils, like oils seeping out of them, that's capsaicin oils. And it lives there. So when you cut it, it bleeds and seeps through. So if you go to my Instagram, there's a link in the description box. You'll see a lot of picture of peppers with just puddles of oil, like practically running out of the pepper. That's a super hot. Now this is somewhere between 200,000 or 300,000. All right. Now the great thing about it, all these peppers have different characteristics as far as flavor, as far as heat. Peppers all taste different. They have different levels of burn. Now, let's take, and they burn you different places as well. We should talk about the jalapeno burn compared to a habanero burn, because a habanero is a very interesting stepping stone as a chili head. Because you eat jalapenos and you're good, you're all psyched, you eat a jalapeno. Then you get to a habanero and you think you're ready for it. A habanero, and this is just common knowledge, if you ate any hot pepper, they burn, okay? Habaneros tend to sting. It has a tongue sting more than a burn. And I think that the habanero has a disproportionate burn relative to the SHU. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like 200,000 or 300,000 or whatever, 350,000 for a orange habanero. You eat that, it stings your tongue so much. You're like, and a lot of people, when they're on their first journey, they'll eat a orange habanero, and it stings like crazy, and they think to themselves, that's only a couple 100,000. If that hurts and stings like that, what would a ghost pepper be like? Other peppers don't sting like that. They don't, they burn, all right? Another thing about, a great thing, experience really matters with eating peppers, because the first time you eat something super hot, you might panic because you've never eaten anything that hot before. The heat is still climbing and you don't know where that heat is going to stop. It just keeps going and going. That's where panic mode sets in. Once that's happened to you once, even if you catch another really extreme pepper, that's a road you've walked down before and you aren't lost on it. You're like, this is familiar. It didn't kill you the last time you were on that road. It ain't going to kill you this time. I think what's important is peppers feel like it's burning you. You feel like it's literally burning you. It's not. It's the sensation that you're burning, but you're not burning. All right. Every one of these videos, since we're talking about tolerance, before we talk about, I'm going to getting ahead of myself up here. Let's say you're at your local grocery store. The hottest thing you can get is orange or red habaneros, and you've gotten to the point where you're there. All right, and you want something hotter. In every pepper video I do, okay, I'll let you know if the grower that provided the peppers, if they sell peppers. In every video like that, in the description box, there will be a link to the grower. They aren't relegated to people like me. Anybody can get a box of super hot pods. You just got to order them. So if you kind of reached the plateau at your local grocery store, you have a couple options. You can buy super hots from a video from a producer that you see in a video of mine, or if you know somebody locally that sells super hots, you can, and that can take you to the next level. Then you get to the spot where once you've reached the hottest thing that you can get your hands on, you really want to climb higher because you can. A jalapeno, the hottest pepper in the world is only about 1.5 million, 2 million Scoville heat units. This is going to feel a lot hotter. Once you've gotten past peppers, a couple good, really amazing ways you can still build your tolerance higher is with tincture. Okay, tincture is just as a process where they use oil or alcohol, and they extract all of the capsaicin from the plant. I mean, in the stems, in the leaf, everywhere. And the peak, highest pure capsaicin we'll get is 16 million. So you can climb a lot higher with products that are in the Chiliad market. The tube of terror is a great product. If you buy a tube of terror and eat 1 peanut a day, at the end of it, 1 week, you won't believe how different a jalapeno tastes. The reason it's going to taste different is because here's what happens. Let's say you're standing right next to me is a Chiliad or a person who's never eaten anything hot. Okay, I can eat a red habanero, and I would tell them it tastes fruity and just has a fruity flavor. Absolutely fruity and really delicious. The person sitting next to me who's never eaten anything hot, they wouldn't taste fruity. Just like that, their taste buds are overridden with pain, and they can't process flavor anymore. All right, so the higher your tolerance gets, the longer that window stays open. Like, I mean, and there's a reason for that. There's, having a high tolerance is going to allow you to taste not just more peppers, but everything. Another common misconception is that you fry your taste buds. It's literally the opposite. The higher your tolerance gets, the more you'll be able to taste. It's just the truth. And there are going to be comments in here where people will tell you that. Really big misconception. Now, we're going to talk a little about tolerances, some scary things that you got to be careful about, okay? When you think about your own body as you're climbing the capsaicin ladder and you're navigating the capsaicin highway and you're eating more and hotter and you're kind of pushing it, you're going to notice that things change. You're going to notice that sauces that you used to like taste better but aren't as hot. Like, wow, it tastes so good, but it's not as hot as it used to be because you're tasting more and the heat isn't troubling you because you aren't being overridden with pain. So when you think about your own personal body, there are 3 spots, and I've talked about this a lot of times, but essentially there are 3 basic spots where you have to kind of think about where your tolerance sits. The first one is in your mouth. So first place the pepper goes. That is the tolerance that's going to build the quickest. If you were to eat a jalapeno every day for a week, at the end of the 7 days, your tolerance in your mouth has increased substantially. The second tolerance you have is in your stomach, okay? I can eat on an empty stomach, I can eat a couple jalapenos, excuse me, a couple like a 7-pot Primo, Ghost Pepper, Reaper. I can eat a couple on an empty stomach and not have any problem. There was a day where if I ate a orange habanero on its stomach, I would be destroyed. All right. So what happens is the mouth tolerance builds really quickly. Your stomach tolerance builds slower. So the dilemma there, and the third tolerance is how you export, how you evacuate, and your body gets rid of all of the hot stuff you've eaten. Every Chiliad's had experience where we've eaten something and the next day in the bathroom we have a horrible experience. It's painful and hot and burning. All right. Because of that, a lot of Chiliads think that that's what everybody experiences. It's not. The third tolerance is how you handle that. So it'll get to a point where it doesn't, just like your mouth, a jalapeno doesn't burn your mouth anymore. You'll have less trouble eating them. It's beautiful, and getting rid of them. I think the better way to describe that. So your mouth, you can find yourself in a spot where, and it's really easy to have happen. Every Chiliad's done it, where you find yourself where you're eating something hot. You're like, man, this is hotter than anything I've eaten, but I can take it. This is great. This would have killed me 2 months ago, but I can handle this now. And you're eating something hot. You're forgetting what happened. That there are 2 other spots in your body that have to do with that pepper after you swallow it. All right. So a lot of times what happens is your mouth can stroke a check that your stomach is not fit to cash. You can't do it. So that's when you find yourself with something called Cat Cramps or Capsaicin Cramps. And it's overdoing capsaicin. It's a drag. It's a bummer. They can be mild to the point of just a little bit of discomfort. They can be gripping, searing, where you feel like you're on the floor, or like you're doubled up on the floor. It's terrible. So be mindful of that. As you start climbing the capsaicin ladder, if you get a hold of something super hot, think, how's my stomach going to handle this? If you've eaten too much and you're trying to cool your mouth down, dairy, milk, yogurt, peanut butter actually helps a lot. Those things are good to help kill the pain in your mouth. Once you've swallowed it and it's in your stomach, first of all, just back up. A way to prevent cat cramps a little bit when you're first starting out is make sure you have some food in your stomach ahead of time. If you're brand new at Chili's, even if somebody who's not, I'm doing this forever. If I went crazy and ate a whole bunch of super hots on an empty stomach, I'm going to have a horrible experience. So make sure you have food in your stomach. Every chili head will recount a tale. Oh yeah, I was at a Philly Chili Festival. I wasn't able to eat, thought I had time to. Everybody's got their story of when they overdid it on empty stomach. You can touch, some people have to touch that stove to know it's hot. Trust me, the stove is hot. Put food in your stomach before you eat something hot. You'll save yourself a little bit. All right, let's say sometimes you can have something hot enough that even though you've prepped, you're still gonna cramp. What can you do then? After you're done eating the stuff, eating the hot peppers, eat something else. So it's kind of sandwich. You have something on your bottom of your stomach coating it. You have the peppers on top and something like that, and that'll help digest it. Chew the peppers up really, really well. The better you chew them up in your mouth, I mean really, really, really well, the less it's going to abuse your stomach. You don't want to have to digest chunks of peppers. That's going to be brutal. So the digestion begins in your mouth as you chew it. So make sure you chew up the peppers very, very well. Once you have the peppers in your stomach and you're getting cat cramps, even though you've prepped, what do you do then? Like, oh my gosh, I prepped really well, but I'm still cramping. A couple things, it's all individual. College boy, he gets overwhelmed with fatigue and sleeps through them. That is a blessed young man. I've only had that happen to me once. I was just so fatigued I fell asleep for a little bit. When cat cramps hit me, laying down makes it way worse for me personally. You'll find sometimes you'll just have one bout of cramps. You're like doubling up. It stays for like 10 or 15 minutes, and it's really dragging, and then it goes away. If you really overdone it, you can have cat cramps that come in waves. And I believe that is as you're digesting it, it's going through your system. And yeah, the further it goes, the more it digests. After it's gone through 2 or 3 bends, it's fully digested. But every one of those bends is a wave of cat cramps. Theory of mine. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I think. Theorizing. So once you've eaten too much, all right, and you're cramping up, drinking a lot of stuff will help. A lot of times you'll see people that are doing like eating a chili on video. As soon as they're done eating it, they'll start chugging milk. If you chug a lot of milk, the milk is what's going to make you throw up, not the pepper. You know what I mean? Talking about that, someone asked a great question the other day on one of the videos where I ate a lot of peppers. They said, if you were to, force vomiting, to induce vomiting, to get it out of your system, will that help? Of course it will. I need you to understand something. If you go to a chili contest and there are people eating 40 or 50 chilies, please do me a favor. Don't think that when they're done, they're wiping their hands off and they're going on about their day. They're going to go throw those up. They just are. It's kind of like the Coney Island hot dog thing. You know, the people that eat 75 hot dogs in 10 minutes. They don't just get in the car and go home. You know, they find a bathroom and they vomit those up. You can't digest 75 hot dogs. So if you're in a jam when you're really, really hurting, if you can induce vomiting, sometimes that can bring up the pods and obviously minimize some of the suffering you'll have. But just know, just like there was a time once where a jalapeno would have really, really hurt me. I remember. And it doesn't. There's a time where it hurt my stomach. I'm at a point now where I'm pretty seasoned. And if you cut me, I bleed capsaicin. You know, but it took a long process, all right? If you eat a lot, if you really increase your tolerance, like when I'm really hitting it hard, like right now, if I get out of the shower, and this is the truth, if I get out of the shower, my hands are clean, and I have an eyelash in my eye, if I take my finger, even if I just got out of the shower, just washed my hands, my eye's gonna burn because it's never ending coming through my fingertips. It's seeping. I'm not making it up. Capsaicin is seeping through my skin. So that's something you got to factor in. You'll have changes in your body as you the more capsaicin you eat. Remember, a few benefits of capsaicin is they're super high in vitamin C. There's more vitamin C, not just in a super hot, in any pepper. Any of the peppers that I held up, there's more vitamin C in one of those peppers than in 3 oranges. So they're very, very healthy for you. They boost your immune system. I've had one cold. I've been sick once in about a decade. They speed up your metabolism. It's a great fat burner. It's true. So, and it's also a phenomenal pain reliever. I know you're like, what? What did he say? Yeah, big time. Well, think about it. If you, man, I thought I had some right here. I used to have. I don't know where it went. I had some muscle rub. It's got capsaicin in it. It's deep penetrating rub, so it's something, it has a lot of amazing uses. But dive into capsaicin. It's good for you, and it brings people together. So, lesson of the day, remember, always make sure you prep beforehand. But if you're stuck on a plateau, if you're stuck on, one more time, we'll do a little visual for you guys. Let me see. Let's say you're stuck on jalapeno, just as a visual example before we end the video. You're stuck on jalapeno, but you want to get to Serrano. A couple things you can do. You can either eat more jalapenos to prepare yourself for the Serrano, or you can go straight to the Serrano and just eat a portion of it. Or you can dive in the deep end big time like a college boy did. He didn't, he just jumped in and started eating super hots from day one. It's a crash course and it's a lot more painful, but your tolerance will rise a lot quicker. If you want to dance, you got to pay the band. All right. Now, the good news is this: you can become a raging Chiliad and never really have to go through a lot of pain and cat cramps if you kind of ease into it. You don't need to hurt yourself. Just like somebody who's a weightlifter, somebody who lifts a ton of, hundreds and hundreds of pounds. They didn't wake up one day and just throw hundreds and hundreds of pounds up. What they did was they started small and started working out and at increments, small additions of weight each time they did it. And what ends up happening is you get to a point where you're stronger and stronger. And it happens gradually. It doesn't happen overnight. But the way that sounds good, doesn't it? But the weightlifter analogy is a great one. Just like the weightlifter didn't wake up one day on the Olympics hoisting all this weight. He started small. Same thing with the Chiliad. No one wakes up one day and just sits down at a table and consumes massive amounts of chilies. It's a progress. It's a stepping stone. But the good news is this channel, you won't get any condemnation. It's not a contest. Now, if you're ever sitting next to me and it's a contest, then it's a contest. Right now, it's not. We're all on the same boat together. We're all on the bus. And I'm just trying to help you guys get to the next level. But there's no condemnation here. If you're stuck on jalapeno, you're still a Chiliad. If you've just got into this and this is all you're eating, you're a Chiliad. If you're just passionate about this, you're a Chiliad. But hopefully this will help everybody get to the next step and do it wisely and carefully. If you want to chart, a good thing to do is to write down where you're at. Like if you're going to do the jalapeno thing, you eat one jalapeno every day, and do this. Take notes. Write how hot it was on Monday. It was a 7 on my scale. It burned my mouth and a little bit on my throat. And do that for a week. And on day 8, eat another one, and then go back and read the notes from day 1. You won't believe the difference, and that's just with jalapenos. Once you get to that point, do the same thing with Serranos. Just eating 1 or 2, and it's fun. It's a beautiful thing, and you're healthy doing it along the way. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any questions about your tolerance, what to do next, let me know. If you want to buy a tincture to help increase your tolerance a lot faster, I think it was Drew. Verden. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, Drew, but I think one of them, I'll tell you in 1 second. Got some tincture from Tom Broom and said that he doubled his tolerance in 1 week. Yep, it was Drew V. A comment from Drew V. He got a bottle of tincture from Tom. He made the comment that he doubled his tolerance in a week using his tincture. Now, you gotta understand, he paid for that. It wasn't an easy thing for him because that stuff's hot. But you can really increase your tolerance. So if you want to get some tincture, there'll be a link in the description box, as always, for Seriously Hot Peppers and Tom Broom. If you were to get this, the Tubatera 2.0, these are just corn nugs. If you just ate one of those a day, just one of those corn nuts a day, you would substantially increase your tolerance. If you ate 2 or 3 of those a day, you'd be stunned at how fast your tolerance would grow. It really will grow quickly. So I hope you guys found that interesting. You'll see those links in the description box. Any question you have regarding your tolerance, where you're at, the situation you had, what you should do next, please feel free and put the question in the comment section. I'll try to answer all of them, but the great news is we've got a bus full of experienced riders, and sometimes they help out and answer questions, but no dumb question, no question's a dumb one. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask it. Hopefully you guys found that helpful. I'm gonna do more of these videos geared towards people that are just starting out, because I think it's sort of been slanted and a little bit unfair. I know it's not like we'll see at the top, get there, find your own way. I'm gonna help you get there. All right, I'm gonna help you get to the top. And that's what these videos are about. So in the future, you'll see more of these videos about pepper, early, beginning level peppers, and we'll talk about that. All right, you guys are awesome. I appreciate that. So in the description box, you'll see a link for all the stuff I told you about. Right there is the pepper. If you click the pepper, we're riding together. If you don't want to miss a video, click the bell for notification. But visit us a lot, because they forget to send out notifications. Leave a fire there, more videos here. Love you guys. New and stunning Raw Vision. I'm Johnny Scoville. This was Chase the Heat.